And as we know, United has been linked to Fernandes. Now, Matheus Fernandes have been linked to Tottenham and to Real Madrid. And basically, they are saying, his parent club, West Ham, are basically saying that, you know what, if you guys don't pay enough for him, you can't get him. So they're basically trying to create a bidding war for this player so that they can get the most for this player because they've gone down through relegation. Let us not forget, if West Ham is able to sell 3 or 4 of their top players, bring in 1 or 2 really good championship players, get back to the Premier League, win that money, let's say they win the championship, bro, they're in a really good place financially. Coming back to the Premier League, they can actually buy a team that can be competitive right away. And that is what I feel like they're trying to do. They're trying to do that Nottingham Forest kind of way of going about this transfer window where when you go down, you take the chance, you sell a few of your top players, buy back quality enough to bring you straight back in, and then become competitive. They're going to do something like Sunderland this season. When they come back in the Premier League, buy really good Premier League and really good players, get a squad good enough to go and allow you to go and qualify or have a chance to qualify for Europe. And that is an amazing thing to see. And I'm very happy for West Ham in the way they're going about this transfer. I can't be bad-minded. I am disappointed because I would like to get Fernandes, and I would have really liked to get Fernandes. You know, this is one of the players I identified nearly a year ago when he was at Southampton, and I said, this guy is quality. And everyone said, boy, who this man, and look at him now, one of the most wanted midfielders in the world. And that is the key to this all. A lot of times we go about not looking at the small things players do that hit the cognitive or make our minds think differently about this player. You know, and when we look at the eye test, when we look at the quality of Fernandes, every game he got better, every game he improved, every game he was solid, every game for Southampton he tried to be available, and all these things made me realize he was the player United needed before this whole thing happened. Then again, when you look at it, all the year come around, goes to West Ham, has a really good season, and now we want him. You know, we should have really went after players like this, like Alex Scott last season. You know, I don't know why Ruben Amorim, I don't know if Amorim wanted those players or not, or if we were identifying these players, but it seems to still be a lot of players that Amorim identified. United is still going after. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that Amorim eye test or his the way he scouts or goes about helping the technicality of the team to scout players, is it in the best interest of the club? Was that the best of Amorim? But we see rumors coming out of guys like Alex Scott, who, in my opinion, he's a top midfielder. Now, Alex Scott averages in the top 16th to 20th percentile for all these following metrics: duels, interceptions, pressing, shots by a defensive midfielder, distance covered. All of these, he's in the top percentage of this. And these are the type of players I see United trying to go after. Now here we have an article in Yahoo Sports talking, saying that Manchester United and Arsenal are tracking Alex Scott. Now we have known that Arsenal has been a long-term fan of Alex Scott. Since January, there have been rumours about him going to Arsenal. Now I must say, this guy next door, Declan Rice, is fucking frightening. Like, we can't hide the fact that there was a really top 2 English midfield players. And also, this is something that's very important for me, why I feel Manchester United should be careful with this guy, but still go after this guy. Why? He's English, which means over the next 5 to 10 years, once he's up to par, he can play at Manchester United. Even if we sell him in a couple of years, he still have some resale value, especially if we get him for like the 44 to 50 million region with add-ons. right? So if we can get him for that price, if we can go about this transfer the right way, I do see the positives of it. I do see the reasons why we're going after midfielders of this sort of archetype. We have Mason Mount, we have Meno, we have Bruno, who technically they are sound. But we don't have engines, which is why Edison, Fernandez, Scott, and also another player here that we're being rumored to is this guy right here. Aurelio Tchouameni. Now, he's not playing much for France at the moment. And a lot of people are saying, but how is he not playing for France? He's not playing much for Real Madrid. What is going on? Why is Manchester United still going after Aurelio Tchouameni? The reason why we're going after this guy, because his trajectory over the next couple of years is elite. Let's not forget he struggled for a little bit to get into Real Madrid team in the beginning of his career, solidified himself to the point where they were willing to sell Casemiro, won the Champions League being a very important player in that run, played really good games for France, has a good passing range, technically sound, really good in communication, can play centre back, can play centre defensive midfield, can even play at the 8 sometimes if necessary. Progresses the ball well, safe on the ball, really good, height wise. He has a lot of attributes, like I would say a Scott McTominay type, right? But a technically like a better than a Casemiro. Give me an Ander Herrera type technically. So you're getting a Paul Pogba prototype, because he does have a few things he does like Paul Pogba. The long passes, his charisma, the way he gets on the ball. You can tell who his idol is. But then now when you look at the smaller things he does, like how he links play, how he wins the ball back, how he covers space. A lot of things about this guy reminds me one of Ander Herrera, i.e. with a Paul Pogba type of prototype about him. But this article is reading coming out of the Daily Beirut saying that nonetheless, Camavinga remains on the contract until 2029. It says that Real Madrid is preparing significant change to the squad, with some players expected to face the consequences. Camavinga and Tchouameni are going to face those issues. Now, it says that if Camavinga stays, already Tchouameni could become the player facing a move. If Tchouameni was a key player last season, which means there's a strong way that also Camavinga can move, and that's another player that we should look at, because in my opinion, Camavinga or Tchouameni lifts the level of our midfield. It gives us a very good chance to pressure teams in the Premier League. Give us a very good chance to be able to be one of the best teams in the league. And we need a midfield that is all action behind players like a Bruno, behind players like a Mason Mount, to complement players like a Cunha, to complement players like a Kobe Menu. You understand? We need midfielders at Edison, or we need at least 2 to 3 more midfielders in order for us to be a very dangerous football team. The more we can have midfield options that are competing to be at the best, is the better we can be. Is the more that we can rest a Bruno Fernandes against a Wolves or against a smaller team, a Leeds. These kind of teams, we can rest a Bruno and play a Mount midfield with an Edison and a Scott, or Edison and a Tchouameni. There's a lot of things we can do with this team, and this is why I'm so excited for this transfer window, because I think United is going to do something brilliant. But yes, people, it's been your boy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Keep hitting the bell for notifications, and guess what? See you on the next one, my people.